I've always documented my life. I've always kept a diary. I started blogging when I was 18 years old. My motto for a time was finding joy in the everyday, but I don't think I truly had confidence in who I was and what I had to offer. I felt like I wasn't living up to my full potential, always looking outwards, around me, at other people living these big, adventurous lives. I felt insignificant. I wanted to do more, to be more. I chased a dream. Not a dream that was authentic to me, but it was a dream. And I ended up being really unhappy. I grew a large online following. I was working on a style course. I traveled more in 1 year than I ever had before. I was growing a media business with my fiance. I was on the trajectory to success. So naturally, I burned out. I numbed myself for a very long time. I beat myself up over having failed at something that could have been extraordinary. I'm finally in a place where I want to begin again. But don't get me wrong, I have been living a very full life. It's just different. I'm living more authentically to who I am, and although my life is simple, that doesn't mean that it isn't worthwhile.
You've got me questioning my position. Am I just filling out? Taking space, not with as much grace. Am I a second choice of all the not Rolls Royce? Dresses and lace help me now. If it's not my business, then whose? When it's up to you to choose.
Growing up, I was very interested in the documentation of different ways of living. I loved reading historical fiction, non-fiction, really anything that transported me to other places in time. I especially loved the Little House on the Prairie series, and I pretty much grew up wanting to be a pioneer. I have the best memories of learning candle making, butter churning, and sewing a patchwork quilt, all in the name of play. And this play was reinforced throughout my childhood. I had a mom who baked and cooked and sewed and cross-stitched and was overall just very crafty. I had a dad who did a lot of DIY and took us camping and taught us how to build fires and catch fish. We had a large garden, and I spent my childhood primarily outdoors. I am grateful for that. I think a lot of people now didn't have that. I found a sheet of paper recently in an old notebook from high school where I describe my dream life. My dream then was to have a little family in an old cozy house with time for hands-on skills like sewing or baking, with room for a garden, maybe a few animals running around, just a simple little life. But I forgot about that dream for a while.
Think about me one more time before you go. Someday you'll know. Someday you'll know. Already know what I'm going to say. I've been feeling this way for far too long.
My trajectory to success looked a lot better on paper than it did in person. The constant grind wasn't in itself a recipe for burnout. The constant coming and going was. Packing, leaving, coming home, packing, leaving, coming home, packing just to unpack, doing laundry just to pack it up again. We spent over 6 months away from home that year. And being away that much meant our work was doubled when we were home. I think we made over 400 videos combined. In that whole year, we were saving to spend winter in a warmer place. As photographers and videographers, winter in Canada can be challenging to do the thing that we do. Frozen fingers, frostbitten cheeks, short, dark days. So going away seemed like the best thing that we could do for ourselves. While we were living for our highlights, the everyday was a deprivation of comforts, scrimping and saving, beans and rice, clothes falling apart, lives falling apart, no time for friendships, for creativity, for moments. And then, when we got there to the place that was supposed to make it all worthwhile with everything banking on it, it wasn't everything we dreamed it would be. Ordinary life confronted us head on. We got sick. We had bad weather. We craved connection. We were tired, and we were still broke. This glamorous life we had built up in our heads wasn't what we wanted, and definitely not what we needed. I mean, maybe if you have family money or something, it might be. Or maybe if you're different than me and don't need the comforts of home. Or maybe you're just still young or young at heart. A life on the road might be for you, but I craved routine, stability, and security, and I had to heal that part of myself. Something had to change.
Now you're gone, and now I'm lost. Finally, I think I can see clearly now. I'm in love. Think about me one more time before you slowly.
I think we often get caught up in a game of comparisons, feeling a need to climb the ladder, to do more, and to be more. I've come to realize that I'm not as ambitious as I made myself out to be, and I've found happiness in just being. This year, I worked on healing. I worked on being content with where I am and who I am. I let go of who I thought I should be in order to become myself. 6 months ago, we moved into a beautiful historic apartment. The radiator is clangy, the floors are creaky, and it's always too hot or too cold. We started collecting antiques because we love the way they have a story, besides just being affordable and sustainable, of course. It feels right. It feels like home. I actually bake regularly now, just like I always wanted to. I was gifted a sewing machine for my birthday, and have been slowly learning the craft. It's something I think I might be really good at, but it also just makes me really happy. I picked up knitting needles from the thrift store and just began knitting instead of telling myself that I will learn eventually one day. I fell in love with reading again for the first time since childhood. Instead of saying I should, I say I want to. And instead of saying I want to, I just do it. I feel like this is all reflecting in my personal style too. The clothes that I wear now bring me joy. They aren't just the most flattering thing on my body. I built an audience of 300,000 women on the premise of flattering, and I just don't want to put that out into the universe anymore. We should all just dress in ways that bring us joy. I'm grateful to live the life that I do. I would be lying if I said it was easy to get here. I am very aware of my privilege in this moment because I have been in a much different circumstance where making choices like these was impossible. I've always said that I never have regrets because I wouldn't be who I am today without who I was, so I don't regret any of it. And I just really wanted to share this piece of me with you to catch you up to speed and maybe give you some insight as to where I'm going. This was just one day in my life. Not every day looks the same. That's kind of the way it goes when you work for yourself. And there's also just different seasons to life, and I'm one to embrace the seasons. Winter, for me, has always been a quiet time for reflection. Looking ahead at this next year, I know that some of the best days are yet to come. I do have my wedding and honeymoon to look forward to after all. But to be honest, I'm most excited for the quiet, slow, and simple moments just living life with my soon-to-be husband. What are you looking forward to this year? For my next video, I really want to share my home with you. So please let me know any questions you have so I can do my best to answer them. Maybe there was something you saw in this video that you'd like to know more about or see more of, so please share. All of my best, Cate.